Why do I do it? Because the world is changing. The way we operate business is changing. Humanity is changing.
I do what I do because I really like helping clients, especially new business owners, see their vision come to life.
This is the best time in history to be a woman.
One of the things that excites me about the work that I'm doing now is that I want it to outlive me.
My name is Seema Alexander. I'm the founder and CEO of Disruptive AI. We make businesses intelligent. Why do I do it? Because the world is changing. The way we operate business is changing. Humanity is changing. Who is Seema? Seema is a woman with a lot of conviction, somebody who has a lot of passion, who's always known since she was a kid that she was supposed to make a difference in this world. Women play a lot of roles in a lot of people's lives, and I feel like I'm very multifaceted. So Seema is not one thing, Seema is many things. I grew up in a family of immigrants. They came from India in the 1970s. They ended up starting the first Indian vegetarian restaurant in Washington, D.C., catty-corner to the White House. I started working when I was 12 years old. And what happened in the 1990s, everything went from doing really well to close to bankruptcy. And my life has always been of like trying to understand why that moment in time happened. I kind of got obsessed why businesses fail and why they succeed, because a lot of things personally happened when I was a child because of those circumstances. And it's probably why I have the most empathy for founders and entrepreneurs who are growing businesses, because there are lots of ups and downs. And so as I got very deep into AI several years ago and understood that this moment in time was one of the biggest entrepreneurial business humanity shifts of our lifetime, because this technology is that big, I thought back to my parents' business in the 90s, and I said, you know, their businesses didn't just fail because they were bad operators, because they weren't. They just weren't paying attention to when technology crossed the chasm. And then in the 90s, it was the internet. And if you weren't paying attention to the internet, weren't paying attention to things like Google and AdWords and websites and, you know, text messages and other ways people started to understand how to communicate their business in different ways. If you were running a travel agency like my dad, you know, you were doing it analog, and all of a sudden overnight, Travelocity, Kayak, you know, Expedia, people buy for saving time, saving money, for convenience. And that's the moment in time we're in right now. And my mission and conviction is around this big, what I call business rewiring. It's not even a transformation, because if I don't talk about it, if I don't vocalize what's happening, because I see the bigger picture, so many companies are going to be disrupted, like my parents' companies. And the thing is, it's not just about the business. It's about the families that are underneath it and the communities that thrive off of these businesses. So that's really why I do what I do with Disruptive AI, and really focus on educating and building and architecting AI solutions, because we're in a 10x the internet time, and I cannot look back.
And with that, the 2022 season comes to an end. Good night.
My name is Marcia Maxwell, and I am the owner and designer of MBM Swim. And I started my brand just to make women feel confident, sexy, and amazing in swimwear. When I started the brand, I wasn't expecting or I wasn't thinking, oh, this is what I'm going to get rich on. No, I just really wanted to do something that I loved. My dad found some old photos, some old drawings of mine, and there were swimwear drawings from when I was in elementary school. So I was always drawing fashion illustrations when I was younger. I loved to do that. So I love to draw and do art. And he was the one who taught me how to sew. So yeah, I was sewing and drawing fashion designs and swimwear designs since I was young. It is my pride and joy, when I hear women tell me how confident my swimwear made them feel when they put it on. Just the other day, I was reading some reviews that I hadn't seen before, and I don't know, it just warmed my heart. Like, I'm like, oh, this is what I do it for. And it's still amazing to me that that I can make something that really just changes a woman's personality. It changes their mood, and it kind of like uplifts them. A lot of times I hear, oh, I never felt comfortable in swimwear. And when you find something that really, really makes you feel great and makes you feel like your old self, or makes you feel confident, then yeah, that's a game changer. And I know that I did my job. I'm really proud of the community that I've created around my brand of inclusivity and making women feel really good in their swimwear. I want young girls to know that you are capable of doing anything that you put your mind to. If you make that decision and you decide that this is the route forward, then nothing can stop a woman from getting what she wants. If you try hard enough, you put your mind to it, and you just do the work, then you can do anything.
I'm Lisa Dorsey, and I am one of the principals at Interplan and Lines Furniture. I've had the privilege of working at Interplan for 12 years now, and it has been such a rewarding experience. We're an architecture and interior design firm that was started over 42 years ago, and I have, grown in my career. I grew kind of along with Interplan, and we're just a great group of people that really want to make a difference through design and architecture, and all of the people's lives that we touch, and even not just our clients, but those patients and their clients and everyone else that enters the space. Good design is more than just aesthetics. It's about how people feel in the space, how they're able to function, if there's, just ease of flowing through the space. And that's what's really important to me. Not just the look of it, but that we're improving efficiencies, and especially for the people that go to work there every day, or in healthcare, the patients that are there every day. And that's, how I look at it, is that, beyond aesthetics, it should be something that's effortless, that people maybe don't even notice, but it's the feel that you get when you're in a space that's been designed well. My interest in interior design started at a pretty young age, more because I wasn't great at reading and really had some academic struggles. And so I wanted to do something that was artsy and different and kind of fit with the type of person that I am. I first started wanting to do graphic design, but then thought that interior design and architecture would be a good way to really create a difference in people's lives and helping people experience the joys of a new space. One of the other rewarding jobs that I've done is working with community clinics on healthcare design, because that's kind of the best of both worlds. You're helping people, especially if they're going through a hard time, whether it's they're getting a diagnosis or they're helping a family member with a tough time. And that's really allowing for a population that's not getting accurate healthcare to be given that opportunity. So being part of a space that is ultimately going to potentially save lives and help people get the care that they need is something that myself and everyone at Interplan feels very strongly about. So something that's really important to me is that I have a daughter who just turned 13 years old, and I'm a Girl Scout leader. And so I've been, shepherding a dozen girls for 7 years now, and really want them to all know that you can do anything you put your mind to. So I am the first person in my family that's really been a woman with a career. To me, it's important for my daughter and her friends to see that you can be successful and you can do the things that you love, even if it's hard. I would say for a young woman that's entering this field that, really assemble a team. You're gonna need a support system of mentors and peers that you can really bounce ideas off of and learn from. And don't be afraid to ask questions. We all started at that same point in our lives. And so we've all been there. Lisa Dorsey is a designer, a connector, and a problem solver. So in my professional life and personal life, I am always trying to connect people and to create an environment that people really feel supported and thrive. And it can be, meeting with different members of the community or my clients and just helping them feel comfortable in the spaces that they're in.
My name is Amber Hewitt. I am a counseling psychologist by training, but I currently work in local government for the DC Mayor's Office as the inaugural Chief Equity Officer for the District of Columbia government, and originally from Shreveport, Louisiana. If I had to distill what my parents taught me into two things, I would say love and serve God and love and serve others. So I've always had a service-oriented mindset. And I couldn't have predicted that, the work that I do today, but I think that value of service to others has really shaped the type of jobs and roles that I've done. And I think about also just my role as an advocate in changing systems and working in government to improve the outcomes of residents. I think about how my parents were my first advocate. Ohio, 3 years prior, that was my first job out of grad school, getting my doctorate. I was a psychology professor. I thought that would be my career journey. I thought I would retire at some university somewhere, but academic life, and didn't feel very fulfilled by it, and felt called to do something different, and saw an application to do a one-year fellowship on Capitol Hill, and resigned from my tenure track position and moved to DC to work on Capitol Hill for Senator Cory Booker, and have been in DC ever since. Yes, so I would start from the beginning in my time in Senator Booker's office. One of the things I'm proud of during that time was that I not only got a chance to write a bill and co-write a bipartisan bill, that it became law. So it was a bill that advances research and treatment for people living with sickle cell disease. And we know that Black people are just disproportionately impacted by sickle cell, and there aren't a lot of treatments or funding. I think there are only a couple treatments on the market, at least at that time when this bill was created. And that was a really powerful moment that helped me realize the impact of policy work. So I really enjoyed working as a psychologist, one-on-one with clients and with my students in the classroom, but getting excited about how policy that is just and equitable, how it can impact millions of people. One of the things that excites me about the work that I'm doing now is that I want it to outlive me. So part of my work is redesigning systems that will perform in a way that will continue to improve the lives of residents. So one example that comes to mind is a project that I collaborated with the DC Department of Energy and Environment in working with the residents to install an air quality monitor in Ward 8 of Washington, DC. So there's a neighborhood in Ward 8 of DC where we saw the highest rate of ER visits related to pediatric asthma. And that's a problem because this is an area that was zoned and designed to be in a very industrial part of the city. So we work collaboratively with residents to have a better understanding of the impact of air quality in that area. And now this is a monitor that will give us data in real time that we can then use in DC government to make sure that we're enacting equitable and fair practices and putting allocating resources where they're needed the most.
The world is definitely seeing our worth. You can make anything happen. I'm just a woman making swimwear to make other women feel good.
Be discerning about who you seek input from. Be discerning about who are your mentors.
But then you get that aha moment when they walk in and it's close to the project being finished and they go, this is exactly what I wanted. And that's really rewarding for me.
For women, all women out there, the key is one thing my mentor told me years ago when I first started my career. She said, Seema, whatever room you're in, always add value.